Good morning, boys and girls. Today we are talking about technology at home and school. So it's a little mixed up right now because, Corona, and our school is at home and our home is at school. We're going to be looking at pictures from 100 years ago and pictures from now. So we're going to be talking about the difference 100 years ago. Now, that's not when your parents were born. That's when your great-great-parents were born, probably. So long, long before your parents were born, probably. Technology at home and school then and now. I want you to think about, now we can't think pair share because we're not at school, bummer, but I want you to think about how technology helps our lives. Obviously, it's helping us right now. In what ways is it helping us right now? What do you think life was like before people had all this technology? In the past, people didn't have electricity in their homes. How did they see at night? They used candles. Most people lived on farms, and there weren't stores that sold clothes nearby. How did people get clothes to wear? They made their own clothes. Can you imagine? My mom told me once that my grandma used to make her clothes out of burlap sacks. So she'd get like farming materials, food and things in a burlap sack delivered or from the store, and then she'd use the sack, so the bag, scratchy bag, to make my mom's clothes. Yes, my mom is old. There also weren't washing machines, so how did they keep their clothes clean? Were they super extra stinky back then? I don't know, but how did they clean their clothes? They washed their clothes by hand. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine how long that must have taken. There weren't grocery stores close by to buy food. How did they get food to eat? Kind of afraid to look at this next slide. They grew their own food and they raised animals. Okay. People didn't have computers, tablets, or TVs. What did they do for fun? They played outside, but kids also had to help out their families a lot more by working. Can you imagine going outside and working all day? How does the technology we have in our home today help meet our needs? Well, friends, let me tell you. Mrs. Handy has two, well, you're going to laugh at me, but I have a monitor, a computer that you probably can't see on the desk, and I'm working on my MacBook. 3 computers going. Mr. Handy's upstairs. He has 2 computers going, I think. The boys have stuff going on. Technology helps meet our needs. We're here and you get to see Miss Handy on the computer because we have technology. Most people lived in rural areas. Now remember, that's farm people, folks out there with the cows and the horses and the sheep, all that, where there weren't enough kids to have class for each grade. How did the school work? What do you think about that? We have tons of kids at our school. Tons. And we have 8 second grades. So they're saying back then, they didn't even have enough kids to make a class for each grade. So let's see how that worked. They went to one-room schools with kids from all grades in the same class. Wow. Interesting. But I don't see any flexible seating going on. Boring. They didn't have computers, and at many schools it was hard to get books and notebooks. What did they use to learn? What do you guys think? They wrote on a slate with chalk. And look at those desks in rows. Aren't you glad you live in the year 2020? What types of technology do we have in this classroom to help us learn? Well, that's awkward because we're not in the classroom, are we? But let me show you. I have my handy dandy headphones here to help with my Zooms with my class. I showed you my monitors. Got a nice wireless mouse here. I've got my whole desk set up. So it's like a little mini classroom here. I got all of this stuff going on here. Lots and lots of stuff. Probably just made you dizzy, but we have technology going on. But what else did we have in our classroom? Take a minute and think. So when we do PowerPoints, we always want to take note. So things people need. They need things for, we need to learn, right? We need to eat. We need to learn. We need to eat. We need to wash clothes. So I'll leave this paper in our lesson 1 folder. And you can print it if you want, or you can just take notes on your own. But I want you to think about things that people needed, and you can continue on filling this out. But how did people in the past meet this need? We had one room, schoolhouse, schoolhorse, schoolhouse. They eat, they grew their own plants and animals. They raised their own plants and washing clothes, washed by hand, and you get the point. So I want you to think about how the people in the past met that need, and then how do we meet that need today? Thank you for tuning in to this handy dandy lesson.